Welcome to the presentation of our Tokai paper, Understanding HCI Practices and Challenges of Experiment Reporting with Brain Signals Towards Reproducibility and Reuse. This is joint work by Felix Putze, Susanne Putze and Merle Sagehorn from Uni Bremen, together with Micek and Erin Solovey from WPI. Measuring brain data has been a method in HCI for multiple decades. Researchers use it to create self-adapting interfaces, to create new modes of communication or control, or for evaluation purposes. HCI research using brain data has appeared at SIGCHI in 1996 and has been present every year since 2001. Research in this area comes from many different fields: cognitive science, neuroscience, signal processing, machine learning, and others. While this interdisciplinarity is responsible for a vibrant and creative community, it also creates a challenge. Many researchers in the field act as lone rangers, creating their own ecosystems from scratch, do little in terms of reproduction for mutual validation, and rarely build on each other's work. The goal of this paper are thus the following. First, we wanted to create a comprehensive corpus of papers on brain data which self-identify as HCI-centric through their publication outlet. This resulted in a database of 110 papers. Second, we analyzed paper demographics. That means we studied the frequency with which domains, modalities for data acquisition, types of applications, etc. occurred. Third, we derived an experiment model to structure experiment reporting in a systematic, reproducible way. Fourth, we analyzed the reporting practices we encountered and identified patterns of different reporting styles. Finally, we distilled a number of actionable recommendations for future researchers, reviewers, and editors in the field. When going through the 110 papers, we encountered a very diverse research landscape. Many different and unique cognitive and neural constructs were reported, from creativity and humor to fatigue and confusion. Among the recurring ones, the most frequent constructs were workload and attention. We found that the majority of the works were purely methodological, that means not tailored towards a specific application, making them universal, but also not rooted in a real use case. Furthermore, we found that the papers which use brain data for evaluation of interfaces or interface elements report mostly technical contributions, for example, measured in classification accuracy, while papers which use brain data for explicit control of a system or for neurofeedback focus strongly on user-centered contributions, for example, measured with user satisfaction. Given this diversity and the need to support reproduction and follow-up work better, we collected and structured the different attributes that were used to report the performed experiments. This process resulted in a formal experiment model. The model covers 50 attributes in 6 categories, ranging from technical aspects of the recording to aspects of the experiment flow and methods of brain signal integration. The model can be used both as a tool for systematic analysis of experiment reports, as well as a guideline for reporting when writing up a new experiment. Using the experiment model, several experts annotated all papers from the database for the presence or absence of each of the attributes. We found that there are stark differences in the frequency of reporting. While reporting of the recording device, for example, is a nearly universal information given by basically everybody, only half of the papers report details such as the reference electrodes for EEG recordings, and some aspects, such as the details of hyperparameter tuning or anonymization procedures, are rarely reported at all. The frequencies also change over time. While more recent publications report more information about questionnaires for evaluation and technical aspects such as synchronization and artifact handling, lower-level signal processing has diminished in its frequency over time. To further uncover latent patterns within the reporting strategies, we performed an explorative factor analysis on the paper annotations. We found a clear structure among attributes defined by the main factors, which we could use to verify and extend the original categories. Furthermore, the analysis revealed that different types of papers follow very different reporting strategies. The paradigm of brain data usage was among the central determinants. For example, we observed a distinct absence of data processing details for neurofeedback papers and a strong focus on machine learning details for papers on mental state assessment. This observation indicates the presence of several subcultures with their own practices for reporting experiments. From these observations, we derive a number of recommendations for future authors, reviewers, and editors. We suggest to exchange best practices in experiment reporting, where different parts of the field have different strengths and weaknesses and should be able to learn from each other. On the other hand, everybody should be aware of the heterogeneity of the field, for example, when reviewing others' work. Researchers should create opportunities to build on each other's work. One important aspect is sharing of data and code through open platforms. Another aspect is publishing expanded experiment descriptions, for example on GitHub, OSF, or through other means when the space in the paper is limited. Of course, such descriptions can apply the experiment model, which we presented, to structure the report and to check it for completeness. Finally, this model, of course, needs to be extended to cover future use cases. And for this, we invite you to contribute to the repository which holds that model. So these were some of the highlights of our paper, which still contains much more information, such as details on the literature database curation, detailed examples contrasting HCI research using brain data with traditional BCI research, many more statistics, including an analysis on exploratory versus confirmatory reporting, and finally an appendix with all attributes of the experiment model with definitions and examples from the database. Thank you for your interest and get in touch if you have any questions.